Welcome back, guys. So my name is Ben, and today we're going to be walking through Xero's new and kind of improved kind of dashboard and just layout and UI in general. They've revamped pretty much the whole thing, and I thought we'd walk through it together and check it out and see what it's like and see what the changes are. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So let's get started and have a little look at this. So this is the current kind of preview design build that they've got at the moment. This is planning to come out in September. So, and they do have a little kind of, you can go to xero.com and you can access the like the prototype here, have a little play around yourself as well. They do have a little kind of like summary video here as well on that side of things, but we're gonna hopefully have a little dive in and a little explore of it, both from an accountant's point of view, but also from a business owner's point of view as well. And yeah, we'll see what's changed. So the first thing is the dashboard. So rather than just having the bank kind of lists on the left, and then you have your like kind of sections on the right hand side for your sales and bills and things, you've now got this kind of dashboard with widgets, and you are able to customize and move these around. So you can close, like if there's something that doesn't appeal to you, maybe your expenses or something that expenses to review, maybe you don't have an expenses to review process. Maybe do that in a separate app. You can, or would be able to normally close that. Maybe we can't in the in the dashboard, but you'll be able to like click the X and get rid of that, and it'll then shuffle around. You can obviously move things around as well, and you will be able to add other widgets. But like I said, at the moment in this build, there's no kind of indication of what those are, if there are extra ones, or if it's just a case of these are the only ones, and when you click X and remove one of them, that's how you add them back. So I'm not sure if there's going to be like some deeper ones that will be like aren't here by default, but maybe you can switch on. That'd be quite cool. Like I said, the main thing here is that you can then choose what's important to you. So obviously you'd probably have your bank there. I do like this, that you've got like this little tasks thing now. That's quite cool. So we normally, when I'm talking to clients about this, I'm normally referring to, you know, treating the banks as your like tick list, your task list. You know, make sure you got all your receipts and your invoices in, matching up against that. Once that's done, that's a good lot of groundwork for your bookkeeping. So to have this here is like, you've got 20 items to be reconciled, there's 6 invoices overdue, 3 that are awaiting approval that need your attention, and 2 bills that are awaiting. Like, I like that it gives you a little kind of little overview of like, here's some things you need to do. So this is something I probably would recommend you'd have like front and center, like you know, top of business on that side of things. You might be like, right, I want to really keep an eye out on my cash and my net profit or loss as well, and have a little comparison of that. You could have your invoices and your bills up here. Like I said, if you use the chart of accounts watch list, I know some clients do, some people don't, you've got that there as well. You can chuck that down there. So really nice that you can kind of tailor this to your own self. I think from an accountant's point of view, and when we're jumping into, if any accountants are watching this and you're jumping into a client's Xero, I'm not sure yet if this is going to be personal based on user. I would assume it would be based on the user, or if it's at a business level, and so whatever the business owner chooses is what the organization shows. I'd assume it's a user, but that means then probably as an accountant jumping into different kind of Xeros, which you can still do up here on the top left, you can still move into different ones. We're probably not going to want to change too much. That's my dog drinking water, if you can hear that. We're probably not going to want to change the dashboards too much, because we're going to have to do that for every single client. If it's not on a user basis as an accountant practice, it's gonna, you know what I mean, you'd end up doing it quite a lot for every single client otherwise. But likewise, if it is on a client level and the client chooses that layout, then that's another thing, is that every Xero you go into will be looking different. So it loses a bit of the uniformity, perhaps. I imagine if it is just based on, you know, the user that's logging into that Xero, accountant or not, and you get to choose your own layout, which is what I'd probably expect it should be, then obviously we can kind of tailor it to what we need, and clients can have what's important to them. Those things might be different. It's a little bit of an information overwhelm though. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I like that there's visuals. I think that's really cool, and it's very interactive. You can hover over and see things very quickly, but it's a lot of like, whoa, like a lot of just overwhelm there. So lots of stuff going on. Might make it a little bit more daunting for some business owners that are just getting started with this as well, to be like, oh God, where do I look? Where do I look first? So that is probably my one criticism with it, but I do like this flexibility to move things around. It's surfacing more information to you as the business owner or the accountant, and it just goes back to strong data. Having strong data in your Xero, having good records, keeping it up to date, not having it super out of date, will go a long way to making this even more useful. Because if this is 3 months out of date, this is useless to you anyway. So just a little reminder to make sure that you're at least doing it monthly, but ideally best practice, you should be setting aside a little bit each week just to kind of tidy up, do these little tasks that are here. I think these are brilliant. Do the little tasks here, click on this. I don't know actually how much works in this prototype. like it's obviously it's not in the demo company yet, so we can't really play around with it properly, but presumably you click this and it will take you to that bank. Sales, so you've still got the drop downs. They don't drop down by hovering over them, or at least not in this prototype. You've got to click them and then it drops down, and you can see here we've got sales, invoices, progress payments, payment links, online payment. So they've split stuff up a lot. Again, a lot of this we can't explore right now. Inventory plus as well, so we're seeing a little peek of like maybe some like improvements to the inventory within Xero as well. We got purchases here where you'll then have your purchase overview, your bills. So the good thing is that the sales overview and invoices, purchase overview and bills, they're not changing, and obviously they've been revamped in the last year or two anyway, with the new kind of look and everything like that. And this is kind of just an extension of this now. But we do have checks and expenses, and I'm not sure some of this, because obviously this is like a USA Xero. Some of this might be like USA specific and not what we'd see in the like UK and Australia and things like that as well. So just bear that in mind as well. Not sure if we'd have checks in the UK on this, maybe. Unless, like I said, that's like a new feature for checking stuff or something like that. We'll see. I do like as well that you can jump in to the settings for like sales, into purchases, like it's all split right here. So you can go to the settings for that particular thing now. You do still have an overall settings. Again, this is kind of just surface. None of this actually is clickable or works or anything like that. You know, ideally be able to jump into that and then it'll take you to that settings directly. So especially if you're less familiar with Xero, getting started, maybe it's a little bit more intuitive of like, oh yeah, I need to change the numbers on my invoices that they start with. That'll be in my sales settings, and I can change my like email template and all that kind of stuff. That'll all be in there. So a little bit more sense on that side of things. Payroll, this is obviously Gusto, which would make sense that it's separate because that's obviously the separate app. I'm surprised though that they've got that built in. I'm presuming Xero Payroll, again, UK perspective, will be like just built in like it currently is. Probably won't change too much. I don't think they're doing a revamp of how Xero Payroll looks. I would imagine that will come at some point, but at the moment I think that's going to stay the same. Presumably this is showing that if you use an external payroll software and it supports it, you can plug it in and have the hyperlink here that will then take you to where you need to go to like do the integration, obviously. And if you're using Xero Payroll, you'll just like be baked in directly, hopefully, on that side of things. Accounting, so obviously we've got your bank accounts and bank rules there as well, and then this is where all the kind of accounting stuff is: chart of accounts, fixed assets, manual journals, find and recode, all that stuff's there. And the accounting settings, which I think is overtaking the advanced settings. What used to be called advanced is now just accounting settings, which makes a bit more sense on that side of things too. We do have tax in here. Again, this probably will, for UK users, will be like MTD, I'd imagine, and maybe your VAT will be there as well. Obviously, VAT at the moment is kind of falls under your reporting in the UK, but it would make sense to like move it over to a tax one and have your VAT. You're making tax digital for income tax and everything like that there. But yeah, we'll have to see with that one what they do. Again, like I said, from a US point of view, that's baked in there as well. And then obviously we got your contacts and all that kind of stuff too, and you can see your groups, and then projects as well is there. So all very straightforward. You've still got the little plus button to create things really quickly on the right hand side here. You've got the Jax kind of AI integration thing, or the Just Ask Xero. I haven't really used this myself too much. Like, I haven't really. Let me know if you've tried it and if you rely on this too much. But yeah, I'm still more of a ChatGPT person if I'm going to do that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works and improves over time. You've still got the search, you've got the help as well, and then you got your notifications, which will show you all your different like bits and pieces that need your attention, billing and things like that. And then I really like this. You've got this app drawer now, and this slides open. You can then open the Xero App Store to look at what other apps there are there as well. But it does mean that, you know, if you use Deputy for your time and rota, use HubDoc for your receipt capture, or Lightspeed like for POS, you can literally like click and it'll take you to those, which is quite cool. So you can actually, like I said, you've probably, because you're going in these regularly anyway, you've probably got these already favorited on your public favorites bar and all that kind of stuff anyway. But it does mean that if you want to quickly access it, then you can do. And this is quite cool as well, the recommended apps, presumably basing off of what you've already kind of got. Here's some other things that might be worthwhile. Not sure, maybe these are ad pushed, like highest bidder kind of thing. I'm not too sure on that. As a business owner, at least you can, if you're not supported by an accountant, you can kind of then have a little look with that. But I'd always recommend, if you're working with a modern kind of cloud focused accountant, all that kind of stuff, they're normally always going to have their finger on the pulse with like the latest apps and the app stacks and things like that. So I'd always recommend chat to your accountant first, just to be like, oh, do you have a POS that you'd recommend, or do you have this or this? As an accountant, we see a wide variety of third-party add-ons. Some work really well, some don't, some have drawbacks, some have like really good advantages, but you know, you got to sacrifice a little bit. We've normally had experience with a lot of them, and we can normally give you a good point in the right direction of, well, this one's good, but it costs a bit more. This one's a bit more cost effective, but you're going to be doing this yourself kind of thing. So always worth having that chat. And then obviously you've still got your profile thing on the top right up here as well. It would be nice to see, obviously it's got files and settings, like overall settings here and stuff too. It would be nice to see what some of these new things will be like, but obviously the sales and the purchases, they've kind of gone through, they're revamped. The purchases, I think, is still going to have more to do with it, because the current UI for Xero is obviously a little bit of a mix match in terms of some stuff's been revamped, some stuff's not. So I think this is the first big step of, this is one of the biggest changes they've made in years. So I remember the old Xero when I first started, and they had that refresh. That had been like early 2010s, like 2013, 2014 maybe. And then obviously it's been the same then pretty much right up until now. So exciting new chapter for Xero in terms of that. I do think this is a little bit overwhelming initially. I do have questions about, you know, is it user-based? Is it business-based? Is it, you know, accountant-based in terms of how this layout works? Because it's going to get really old real quick if I'm going to be moving this around for every single client. We'll have to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We'll be dropping some more kind of content on this. Let me know what you'd like to see. Xero tutorials, Dex tutorials, just general tutorials in general. Like, let me know what you'd like to see in the comments. I can pop something together for you. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.